unscheduled off-world activation. Boys, how you doing?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing
I'm
good.
good. Kevin, you moved on me.
Oh,
Center thyself. Other way. You also can move your device too. That you can
yeah,
turn.
sure. But that's the easy way.
Will, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Greetings from Earth. I'm good. I'm very good. And Kevin, what did your shirt say again?
Oh, don't say COD till you've tried it.
There you go.
That's
Keep
awesome.
always keeping the
Good try.
podcasters in mind, the podcast listeners. This is an unscheduled. I'm seeing the delay in the feed and seeing the Kevin's shirt come up again. This was an unscheduled episode because, and my moderators love that, because I didn't know that I was going to be doing this until recently, and I'll explain why in just a minute here. You guys know that trivia has been a part of Dial the Gate from the first episode of me and Darren. You guys were both reigning champions on our trivia games in the past, and it's been something that's very important to Fandom. When Kieran and Jenny and I were running Stargate Command back in the day, we would regularly ask people what is it that you want more from the account, because they paid $20 to be there. And Kieran said the thing that they heard again and again was more quizzes, more quizzes, more quizzes, which is one of the reasons why trivia has always been a big portion of the project. I wanted to bring you guys here because I have something to unveil tonight that I'm very proud of, and a number of people helped me do it very quickly. A few weeks ago, I created a Patreon, and I was overwhelmed by the response, humbled by it immensely, still am. But I wanted to give
well deserved.
Well, thank you. But I wanted to create something as a thank you, and it was always my intent to do this, but this accelerated the process. And gave me the excuse. And also, I'm getting ready to leave for 3.5 weeks, and so because I like pain, I was like, well, let's just do this now. So what I have is not just for us, but it is for everyone. And it's still early days, but it is on its feet. We have launched a trivia machine. An endless trivia machine that is going to stand alongside Dial the Gate. And as we are Dial the Gate, it was naturally the direction that we would go with a dialing computer. And you can actually get to Dial the Gate by pressing this button right here. Of course. I am so proud of this thing, and I'll give you guys a little bit of background on it in just a second here. I wanted to create something that is mobile friendly, and we created something that is so slick that it's kind of taken my breath away. I have taken design elements that have been brought to us from Matt Eagle SG Wilson and Bryce Orrs, and then I, along with Ian Bernardo, who is building Heliopolis and who built the original dialing program that they have been using over at EMG, the Children of MacGyver. We shunted this thing into a mobile-friendly and a desktop-friendly. It's not an app. It's not something that you can buy in the Play Store, although I may have conversations with someone at some point in order to pull that off. But it is something that you can play. So as a thank you for the people who helped me get Patreon off the ground and everything else, I went and spent 10 of those dollars on StargateTrivia.com, which, to my shock and awe, was available. So now you can go to stargatetrivia.com, and there are 1,250 questions out of thousands planned, ready to go. So more quizzes, there you go. And my hands and my humor, such as it is, have touched every one of these. I do want to make a quick note here. I apologize for the text. This is not the font that it's supposed to be. So that's one of the only a couple of problems that we have with it. So it will be different on different devices, but it is the dialing computer font that it's on the devices where it's working. So keep that in mind. It doesn't always look like that, but you guys are going to help me with the test run with it here. And Kevin, what do you think?
It looks amazing. And I'm just happy to get to help you test it out.
You've already played with it on mobile, haven't you?
Yes, a little bit.
Is it fun? Oh, I don't like that.
It's more engaging than any of the online quizzes I've done.
Okay, that's fair.
It looks better. It's more. I feel it's better worded than any of them. I have fun playing it.
Okay, Will, thoughts? I sent it to you a day or two ago.
Yeah, I'm still wrapping my head around 1,250 questions, and your implication that's just for the beginning.
I wanted to launch with more than 1,000, and I've been doing this for about 3 weeks, and I didn't want to launch with fewer than that because I really wanted people to be able to get as addicted to it as I have, and I have sleep problems as it is, and I've been laying in bed playing it, but you're also throwing stuff at it to see if it'll break. A lot of QA and taking screenshots and emailing to myself. I got to change the wording on this. This is too vague. This is whatever, because each question needs that because it's up against 300 and almost 60 hours of programming. So Will, I have to give a huge thank you to you because you helped me on, under the hood with the process that it took me to get this thing off the ground, because I wanted to make sure, and I'll pop open the hood to show it to you guys, that I had everything that I needed in all the tools. So where this comes from is a website called Ozgate, created by Alan Gowan of GateCon. And on Ozgate, he has a mass of 27,000 trivia questions created by a guy who has the handle of Quizyard. He made this over the course of years. And what it turns out to be is an average of 80 questions per hour of television. And I have gone through, I have taken the trivia questions from Dial the Gate, and that's what I started with. E.V. Cahill adapted them into a spreadsheet for me months ago, and that was what we started off with. And so those questions, about 80% of them are inside this program, reworded and recontextualized a little bit to make it work, along with 3 incorrect answers for each question. And that was a bit of a bear, let me tell you, getting all that on straight. But it's in there now. A lot of the questions that Quizyard, lovely as he is, well, the one at the very top that I killed was what was Professor Langford's license plates in Egypt in 1928. This is an endurance game. The idea behind it is you start playing and you go until you can't go any further. And if the whole idea is see how long you can go. And if I am going to get knocked out because I wasn't able to answer what the license plate number of Professor Langford's car was, that would really piss me off. So I've gone in and we are going to be using a number of Quizyard's questions, the base of 27,000, but we're also going to chiefly be making new ones. So the base is for me to start with. And I'll say more about this in just a minute here, but I will start off by saying it already has French.
Oh, awesome. That's great. That's gonna a
There is
lot of
a
fans are gonna be very happy to hear that.
So we wanted to create something that was the world over for fandom. Martin Garrow has promised a show that's going to be released internationally at once, and I wanted to create something that could bring us together, and so that's what we've done here. So we've created this thing so that it's modular, and we can offshoot different languages. And if this is something that you're interested in, you can become part of that, and I'll be bringing that up to you guys in just a second. But do you want to play real quick?
Yeah.
Kick the tires and light the fires, as it were.
I
mean, we're not going to shoot down aliens, but yeah. All righty. William, you ready?
Sure.
All right.
I'm just gonna call it answers as you.
That's it. In this episode, the city of Atlantis is nearly destroyed by an ocean wave.
That'd be the eye.
Kevin, in Gauntlet, TJ describes ALS as
A death sentence.
wow. William, what is the call sign of the X301?
Oh, I want to say it's Digger 1.
Kevin, what other name was given to Pelops by the people of Argos?
The Giver of Days.
William, what is Jack's iris code prior to unnatural selection?
903-224-637.
I knew you would know it.
They know it.
The only I have that in there is because it is a part of the dialogue. Otherwise, you will not find that question in there. Kevin, in 2001, what was the name of the Ashen ambassador?
Mollum.
William, which Asgard is voiced by Terrell Rothery?
That would be Freyr.
Oh.
Oh no, it was a Heimdall.
Kevin is it. That's right. Very good, guys. That's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I want to introduce everyone to one of the people who helped me bring this thing together. And in that brief conversation, we are going to explain the tiered system and how it works so that when you screenshot this and share this with your friends, you will be able to share how far you've moved in progress. So let's bring in Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, David.
How are you?
I am well. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Oh, well, see now I've got this little project going on called StargateTrivia.com. It starts with a really big database, lots of questions that we're rewriting and getting answers for, and to create this wonderful game.
Well, it's I couldn't have gotten this far without you.
Oh, thank you.
I, only started this like 3 weeks ago, and then with Ian and with Bryce and Matt and Alan Gowan and his guy who designed the questions to begin with, we turned this thing around very quickly, and you
That's
burned
impressive.
the midnight oil to bring us to where we are. Because
Yep.
picking the questions and sorting them is 50% of the battle.
Yep.
So you did that on the last third. So thank you.
I didn't realize it was that much. It didn't feel like it.
I was around 800 when you came in. And we're at 1,200 now.
Wow,
So
1,249.
that's it. At the moment, it won't be that when we go live.
Yep.
The real question is it fun?
Oh my gosh,
Do you think it's fun?
yes. I'm having a lot of fun with this, not just because of the actual work that's involved, but like there's a lot of information that you take for granted. Like, oh, I forgot that. Or you have to do a little research to check on something and you find something else. So for me, I am really enjoying it. I'm learning, remembering a lot, kind of reliving the stories, which is fun, the little adventures.
It puts you back into it. Makes you want to go.
Absolutely.
I cannot count the number of times now where I have stopped to go and research an episode to verify the question.
Yep.
per dialogue, because I've got the transcript. We've got the transcripts as well to make sure of things. And I just sit there and I go ahead and finish the episode. And it's really slowed me down. It's like, no, you have to get back
now,
to this
David.
That's drinking a little too much of my own Kool-Aid here.
I don't know if this is something that we can find out, but I would be really interested in learning like how many people are playing the game and like how long, if that's something that we can determine. Like, are they just 5 minutes and done? Are they really getting into it? Are they challenging themselves?
Yeah. So what we are doing with this is when you go and you click on the episode, the trivia, it starts you off as a basic airman.
Yeah.
So it ranks based on Air Force military rank, from basic airman at 0 to full-blown general 4-star at 100 questions.
I was Tok'ra Rascal. I don't know where that came from, but I was a Tok'ra
So those
Rascal.
have phased out.
Okay.
So we had them random in there for a little while, and now
Gotcha.
people can capture a screenshot and upload it to social media to show what
that's
their rank
awesome.
has gotten to.
Yep.
Because the Air Force rank is pretty vertically recognizable.
Yep.
So at every 5 questions you break through a new tier.
Oh, I didn't
So
realize it was.
we just
Gotcha.
changed that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when this goes live, that's how that's going to be. So you can screenshot your phone and you can put that on the web and share how far you've gotten.
Is it still
Yeah.
20 seconds for per question?
It is.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I
We'll
it
see
makes me a little
I-
nervous sometimes. I'm like, oh.
Well, we couldn't have people go and search the question and then put. We had to make it
Fair.
tight, and
Yep.
I wanted your heart rate to come up a little bit.
Yep.
So that's
Oh,
what
it
it
did.
is. Especially when it goes
those-
red in that last 5 seconds.
Yeah. But some of those hard questions are really stumpers, let me tell you.
I know. Yeah, you
Mhm.
have to. It's going to be striking a balance. One of the things that I've asked Ian to do is create a little module on the back end
Mhm.
to identify which questions are stumping people the most and kicking them out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Finishing their streak, so
Yep.
that I can either adjust the wording or dial
Yep.
down the difficulty. But
Yep.
I mean, I don't even move the difficulty around. I just push go and let fate
And,
decide. So,
Yeah.
but the reason that we wanted for like the easy ones, I really wanted to make them easy because
Yes.
I want kids to be able to play.
Yep.
Like 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds,
Oh, yeah.
because they're the ones who are up and coming and going to watch this thing. So
Absolutely.
kids should be able to jump on and be able to play just like anyone else.
Mhm.
So that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, they may not know all the character names and the places, and most of us don't know the planetary designations. M7G677. I will always remember the
That's a
planet
lot of
of the
kids on that one. That's right. That's right. Martin Garrow and I share that birthday. Martin July Garrow 6th, 1977.
Oh,
That should be a
alrighty
trivia
then.
question. I'm going to put that in
Ah.
there.
There you go.
So
that's
production
the other-
questions are hidden as Easter eggs. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's the other thing I like about this project is we're not just restricted to the questions that we already have. You know, we can come up with other questions too. Like, you know what? This was a really cool tidbit that I think should be in, one of the questions. And, I throw them in there and Bob's
That's
your
exactly
uncle.
right. Yeah, no, there's so many in there, and we're going to talk about that a little bit further in the other section of this. But
Yep.
I wanted to thank you for your work so far, and I'm thrilled to have you on board.
Well, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to work on this. I'm really enjoying it.
It might be a good idea if I actually turn my volume back on. Big thanks to Sarah for helping me pull this thing off. It was absolutely a challenge that she has risen up to meet. It just take me over the top. It's not easy to be able to get all of these questions out. So to have someone else do a first pass on them, and then I go in and tighten the screws on everything has just been great. So again, Alan Gowan of Ozgate making this possible, Quizyard for his 27,000 base questions, Ian Bernardo of EMG helping me build the website, Bryce with design elements, William Murphy with the Google Sheet, Eagle SG Wilson for some of the dial-in computer elements. We have brought a team together to pull this off. You guys want to go again?
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully
All
I won't be
right.
able to close it up this time.
So by default, it automatically sets difficulty to all and source to all. You can toggle different ones. I'm going to reiterate something that past David said in the piece. There were no really easy questions. Like, put yourself in the mind of the next Stargate viewer. You want to design this thing for kids. So you can toggle easy on, and your 10-year-old who just watched the Stargate movie can play. So that's what I'm looking for help with, is kind of getting around that idea of making some easy questions. The other thing, the bear of it is, the 27,000 questions that exist, and I've used this example a lot, that we're missing contextual questions, which I think are far more interesting in many cases. The one that I always go back to is, why is Daniel smiling at Cam in the men's locker in Crusade? Like, you have to know the show in order to know what's going on there. And it makes a great medium or hard question. And so we're looking for a lot of those. The person, place, thing questions has been covered. Please do not press the contact us button and send me a person, place. Don't send me any kind of person, place, or thing questions. I will bust your ass. I'm overflowing with questions. I mean, sitting there and thinking about a question and answering is like, oh, I would like to add this question. Control F. Quizier's already got it. I mean, and that happened again and again and again. So he has done his homework. So that was huge. Okay, let's go and play. Alrighty. Kevin, you ready?
Yes.
Why does Rush hide the discovery of the Destiny Bridge?
To keep control of the ship.
William, by Lost City, what additional country was confirmed aware of the Stargate program?
Japan?
Oh,
Canada.
It's Canada.
I suck.
Kevin, what aids in Ball's escape after planting his explosives in Stargate Continuum?
Ring transporter?
Stargate Continuum, there's a ring transporter on the Achilles? Portable dialer.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's been a while since I watched that.
For sure. And William, in Flesh and Blood, how long until the Ori warship reaches Earth?
Man, these are hard.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go 3 weeks.
Wow. Kevin, as a precaution, what did Dr. Keffler implant within Anna? And I need to update that to include the episode title. Although they both only appear in one episode.
Biotoxin.
William, what technology attracted extra-dimensional parasites in Uninvited?
Soda and cloaking device.
Kevin, what message is tied to the champagne bottle O'Neill sends through the gate in Rising?
Bon voyage.
Awesome.
William, how long was there to raise the shield before kamikaze darts struck Atlantis?
I'll do my best Radic impersonation. 45 seconds.
That's good. Kevin, what was Jack doing at the beginning of Children of the Gods?
Stargazing.
Yeah.
William, what film does Nicholas Rutch reference in the Kino footage in Time?
For a while there, I thought we were in trouble. Butch Cassidy.
Kevin, in The Hive, who died as a result of enzyme withdrawal? Jace fell off a Kaneo died as a result of withdrawal from the enzyme.
It was gonna be one of those two names.
Jace fell. So Shepard missed the landing.
Oh yeah, he's the one that
fell to his death. Oh, it was brilliant. Jace, you murdered my men. God. So yeah, that's
these are good questions. Like,
right?
It's a great, like you were saying, you've done a great job taking this existing trivia database and really finding this balanced mix of like tone, and like you said, the person place thing, but also some nice like broader like you said, contextual questions. Very like the difficulty levels seem to be very off the cuff, very well balanced. You know,
Well,
not,
I'm thrilled that you guys like it, and it would not have been. I mean, I would have had 1,000, on my own. It would have been hard though. But now, the thing was, Osgate, Alan Gowan's website, it's behind a login wall. So
oh,
I highly recommend that you guys sign up over there. It's at ausgate.net, AUSGATE.net. I wanted something to be a little bit more accessible to like a kid who didn't want to
yeah,
have to log in, who could say just type in Stargate trivia and go for it.
right.
And so that's what we've done, and I think that it's going to give those trivia questions a larger
You know what
life.
this feels like? This is a wonderful throwback to like 2000s internet, where
Yeah.
it wasn't this huge burden to, download well, it's not a huge burden, to download an app or whatever. Like when I was working the midnight shift at the architecture library at university and I was bored, I'd pull up just a random trivia website and go. And this is what it feels like, except really, really, really smooth.
Well,
Um,
what it reminds me of is Flash Player.
yeah, that's
I
exactly
mean,
what else. Yes, yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
it's very just it reminds me so
slick.
much of that, and
Yeah.
it just goes it just goes on and on. So we're at 1,250 right now. My hope is to add on average maybe 10 a day. But I wanted you guys to have, everyone listening, to have enough of a swig when we start, that you can really enjoy it. Now, this is where the fun begins, as they would say in Star Wars. What I'm doing now is looking for people who would not mind pairing up with someone else in their language to grow out the channel not the channel. This is the channel, the website. In the spirit of building SG4 camaraderie, I want fans from other Stargate languages to be able to come together here and adapt the existing questions from the English version into their language. So I won't consider branching off. The next one will probably be, well, I know the next one's going to be Polish because Jacob, my lead archivist, has already said he's going to set up the Polish one. So we need someone else
Oh,
helping him with
nice.
Polish. But the next one behind that will probably be German. And I'm not going to move forward with it until I can get 2 from each language so that you have a buddy to be accountable for, because I can't translate. And the other bear of it is you can give this to an LLM and it will adapt the questions for you, but it will not necessarily, even if you tell it to go and fetch them, not necessarily get the episode titles for that language, which were made very deliberately correct.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
So
Great point.
you can't just copy and paste. You
Yeah.
have to get that right. And so that's where we're coming from with that. The other thing that I want to say is, like I've already showed you guys on mine, I just went to Safari and made a link from my homepage. So you can
Awesome.
go and open up your phone, and all you have to do is create a link to your home screen, and then it will load up there, right? And it will Ian has already configured it so it doesn't have anything blocking the top or the bottom, like say when you go to Google, your Google app, and go to stargatetrivia.com. So it's
Oh, this
completely
looks so
clean.
good on the phone, even
It
through
looks
your camera. It just pops.
it's smooth as glass.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it to be honest, I had a bit of an ASMR experience, with it for a little bit here when I first turned it on. I don't know if you can tell, but we've added some quotes from the show as well, and a couple of them are really
Rosie earlier from Full Circle. Yeah.
There's that. So we did that. That's a thing. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it here. You want to go one more time?
Yes. Before we do, though, you
Yeah.
mentioned something towards the top of this announcement. Some way to show off your progress to your friends. Or is
Yeah,
that
I would
coming?
screenshot them.
Screenshot.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so what one of the things that we covered in the little bit with Sarah is that it's a tiered system from Airman Basic
Okay.
to General, 4-star General. And so that's 20 branches of rank. And so every 5 questions you get promoted. So if you make that tier, the cookie will remember it.
Nice.
But also, I managed a few days ago to get up to 120 questions. That's not happening
That's a heck of a
now.
run.
That's not. I've added too many. I can't keep track of all of them now. So when it was 500, I could do it, and now I can't get to that. So with my mods, I'm in the Dial the Gate live page. If any of you guys are in and anyone's asking questions, Marsha, I'll get to your question in just a second here. So the live chat, go ahead and submit those if you guys want to get any questions over to me for the next few minutes of this. But where was I going with this? So if you want to screenshot that and share that with your buddies, you can. So,
Awesome.
And I can't promise how long the cookie will remain because we're updating the website and it may be wiping that.
Yeah,
I already noticed that it reset me to Airman Basic after here, even though I was up to some kind of sergeant. So screenshot it while it lasts because screenshots make memories forever. So, Marsha Middleton, any questions about Stargate Infinity included? No. And I've not included questions about Stargate Origins. I wanted people to be able to, like the majority of dedicated Stargate fans who are going to find this thing right away, to be able to log into the portal and just press go and just keep on going around and around and around and just keep on going with it because I want it to be addictive. Just like Steve Jobs wanted his iPhone to be, so useful that he wasn't even willing to give it to read. He wasn't even gonna let his kids touch it. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want for a website. So, but let me tell you something. When that thing goes red, your heart gets pumping a little bit there because it's like, ooh, I want to answer the question. So, all the more reason to not take your phone with you to bed. But as they say, this is just the beginning. So the infrastructure is in place, and the back end is so easy. So people can go in you don't have to. If you want to help me build this thing, you don't have to have any kind of HTML experience. All you have to do is just know how to navigate a Google Sheet. And I mean, we can just easily just create a question here. And the trigger we built is giving it a difficulty level. And then every 15 or so seconds, it pushes to the published version of the website. Although I'm the one to assign the difficulty level. So no one's going to do that but me. But yeah. One more?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Okay, William, in Earth, how does Telford describe the conditions on Destiny?
Let's go with dire.
That's correct. Kevin, which family member joined Chloe Armstrong on Icarus base?
Her father.
That's correct. William, what is the name of the desert world from the Stargate film?
Abydos.
William, what's the name of the hotel where Daniel Jackson gives his presentation in the feature?
You said me. It's Kevin's turn technically, and thank God it is.
Kevin.
The Park Central?
Park Plaza. Shepard referred to, William, a time travel mechanism from which franchise?
I shouldn't have the episode in here. Let's try Back to the Future.
That's correct. It's time. Kevin, in Rising, what did Shepard say the team members were when they went to Athos? I need to add more context.
Traitors?
That's correct. William, who commanded the USS George Hammond?
Colonel Carter.
Kevin, how many glyphs are on a Pegasus Stargate?
32?
36.
Ooh, 36. Yes. William, when Young releases Greer from the brig in air, he orders him to?
Take his anger out on the enemy.
That's right. William, when talking to Catherine, what does Jack call General Hammond?
A teddy bear.
That's right. William, what personal item had Captain Hansen carried on his person for years?
A Bible.
That's right. William, tick-like creatures Kevin, tick-like creatures force the crew to deal with suppressed trauma in this episode.
Visitation?
That's pain. Yeah. So one of the other things is I'm looking for questions that have episode names as their answers. That's not something that Quizard created. I slowly created a few for that. William, what is Carter's excuse when she doesn't want to answer to talk to Jonas and Nightwalkers?
I'm out of time, but
yeah, you're right. Let's get some lunch.
My guess anyways.
Sorry. Yeah, that's my bad. William, who seared the mark of the serpent from Ragnor's forehead?
That was off camera. Let's go with Braytak.
His father.
Father. Okay.
Yeah. Whose question was that?
It was technically mine.
Okay. Kevin, when Daniel returns nude in Threads, what does Jack provide to cover himself?
The SGC flag.
William, what race built Atlantis?
That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the ancients.
Kevin, according to John Shepard, people who don't fly are?
Crazy.
William, in Earth, O'Neill admits Carter often saved him with what type of science?
Wacky?
Wacky. Kevin, O'Neill must return to duty to answer a new threat from the gate in this episode. Wow, I need to fix that.
Children of the Gods.
All right. Are you sure? William, if Hathor succeeds in taking over SG-1, Teal'c says it will become her...
breeding ground?
Nest.
Okay.
Kevin, the coordinates for Ernest's planet are similar to those for which other planet?
Abydos.
William, who trained Teal'c as a warrior?
Braytak.
Kevin, what is the name of Senator Kinsey's dog?
Oscar.
William, in search for Aiden Ford, Shepard's team gets themselves captured by a soldier in...
Oh, goodness.
Episode title.
Okay. Lost Boys?
This is Ronan's first episode.
Oh, Runner, then.
That's right. Kevin, and Before I Sleep, who mentions the possibility of other ancients in stasis in Atlantis?
Satela?
Shepard. Kevin, or William, how long before Bloodlines had Ryak been ill?
For several weeks.
Since being driven from his home.
It was one of those two, yeah.
Kevin, what was the estimated death toll in There But For the Grace of God when it was reported?
2 billion?
1.5.
Okay.
William, Ragnar feared that by fighting Apophis, Jaffa rebels would have to
fight their own kind.
That's correct. Kevin, Daniel questions the use of what in Hathor?
Guards.
Handcuffs. William, what British flag does Beckett wear?
Scotland.
Kevin, according to Jessica Steen, this festival factored into losing the role of Elizabeth Weir.
Burning Man.
Burning Man, that's correct. So I'm glad that that came up. Every 30 or 40 questions, you will find a production question. And unless you're familiar with the stories that have been told on Dial the Gate or in a couple of other niche places, you're not going to come across those. I debated putting them in there at all, but I wanted this to also be an educational experience for Stargate fans who are seasoned. So, and also, as this is an oral history project, people that things remember are often wrong. So what we did was put in according to so-and-so and according to such and such. So it's their story that we're leveraging. So that's what we've got here.
That's really cool.
And Jessica Steen, for my 98th, 99th episode, she said that Burning Man was a contributing factor. And I can speak from personal communication with folks involved that is the case. So we're leveraging all of that. I did not plan that. I'm really glad that came up. So you guys get the gist of it. So let's see if there are any more questions from the crowd. I think that we're good. They're probably all... Oh, William, you're already in the chat. Yeah, so French is available now. If you want a new language and you're bilingual, can speak English, and know your way around English, there's a contact us button at the bottom, and it will generate an email to Wormhole Extremists, and our operators are standing by. No, we've got, right now I've got Sarah looking at it. So if we can get 2 of folks for a language, then we'll start to build that out. And once we have a base of 500 questions minimum, stretching across all the shows and easy, medium, and hard, I will activate that that language and set it free. But you have to be willing to, sit down and start punching out some questions to pull that off, because once that's on there, it's on there. So, and I don't want any kind of founder-esque situation where Ray Kroc's, gives McDonald's license to these guys and they start making fried chicken. No, the questions need to come from the base of the English base. And if you want to add one, get it to me first. I'll approve it. I'll add it to the English, and you can add it to your language, and we will go from there. Guys, any other thoughts before I wrap this?
This is just absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Kevin took the words out of my mouth. All of my respect to you and the entire team who put it together. The GUI looks great. It's very well thought out. It's very accessible. That's the biggest thing. Is Stargate's for everybody. That's
right.
This continues that philosophy. So well done. Thank
you. No, I was just so overwhelmed by the support that I got on Patreon. I was like, I've got to get off my butt and light a fire under myself and pull this thing off. And I've been so fortunate to be surrounded by just the right people to create just the right tools with people who have the right skill sets. And this is a talented fandom. And when imagery for the new show starts coming out, I can't wait to see what people start creating for it, for themselves and for fandom, in terms of costumes and art and all kinds of other things. I've already shared it with Martin Garrow. He's enjoyed it. I think this is going to be something cool. So, on that point, this could become a continuity training tool for the new crew of the show. Or at the very least, over like a drinking game. Okay, see who's gonna.
Yeah, like something they're doing between takes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fresh up on your
right.
Stargate lore.
Or pick one. Start it easy and for SG1 and work your way forward.
Yeah,
that's the thing that I really like about it. Ian originally had it designed so that you could select more than one series, but that feature isn't in there anymore. I'm wondering if it's going to come back. And I have a promise from him that at a certain point somewhere, I won't necessarily say when, you will be able to tap the Stargate and make the iris open and close. So just little cute things like that. I didn't want to make it intrusive. I wanted to make it like a smooth as glass experience, because it is. On these OLED screens, it looks good. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to playing on my phone later.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Aaron Stark Linux, thank you very much. Awesome job. Small Duck, I hope someone translates into Klingon for some cross-franchise enjoyment. I just so cold. Yeah. There will be some interesting ones for sure. All right, guys. I appreciate you making this happen with me on short notice. But now I'm going to go and update the title of this. This was a little bit of a sleeper, so I'm going to go and update the image to be stargatetrivia.com.
Awesome.
So, guys, go play. Let me know which. If you come across any issues, screenshot them and send them to me. Jacob Oleash has already been mad at that. Just, this is not right. This is not right. Okay. So there's going to be a certain amount of endurance on my own, just keeping up with this until I'm confident that I can hand it off to someone who's going to have the dexterity with English that I expect. So that's just for the one language. So we got a bunch of others. So I'm not going to keep you guys around any longer on a Thursday night. Thank you so much for hanging with me, folks. And we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.